Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. In this video, I wanted to just briefly speak on this topic right here. In this YouTube channel, I'm not subscribed to it, and nor do I recommend anyone else to subscribe to it, because in these last days, we're marking those people who are causing divisions amongst the flock. And this guy, which his name on YouTube is a Priest Genesis mode, he's being marked. And what he's right now kind of saying is that Yahawashi isn't the true name. It's Jesus Christ. So like in this thumbnail, and what he says here says, why I stopped calling Jesus Yahawashi and what changed my mind. Well, ultimately, I believe through the Spirit that money changed this person's mind. Because this isn't the first instance that you're seeing a so-called black Hebrew Israelites speaking the actual doctrine that we learned from our elders from One West and on down, changing the doctrine. And this is not far-fetched to us. We are aware of it, and we're looking for those things. That's why we're marking these people. We're like watchmen, and we're like the shepherds taking care of the flock. Because like in these last days, as we're walking the straight and narrow, and these people, like you see on the screen, are walking that broad gate, they're going to be covetous. They're going to be evil. They're going to be trying to spy on us and see our liberty amongst Yahawashi, and they're going to basically relay whatever information they can to their daddy Esau. Because like I said, through the Spirit, I believe these people are paid off. Because like I don't know that much about Priest Genesis mode or what faction he's part of, but all of these people pretty much look the same to me. They all wear their baseball caps, and they look goofy in the YouTube channels that they're making. Like you see right here, this guy is just reaction images, basically just trying to get people to click his video so they can get views. And these type of YouTube channels and organizations are propped up by Esau Edom. Like you had it just recently with the Southern Poverty Law Center. And if you're not aware of what that is, that's a 501c3 group that basically advocates for civil rights from people, and then they go against the supposed KKK members, neo-Nazis, and any type of racist people that you have in America, which everyone's pretty much racist. But then like when you have like actual divisions and groups like that, one that comes to mind is Patriot Front, which basically Patriot Front was just a front. That was the government basically just getting people riled up so that they can spy on them and then report to the FBI that these people are terrorists or have the mindset of a terrorist. And we're no different in the sense that the Southern Poverty Law Center is putting their scopes on us. Even though we're not neo-Nazis or KKK members, like we don't go around actually causing physical violence. They want us to stop speaking what we're speaking. But then here it is, you have on the news, the Southern Poverty Law Center recently is caught with fraud because they're really just pumping money into these neo-Nazi groups so that they can have an excuse to continue to function. You see it in a lot of movies or in stories where like basically these organizations like the FBI or the CIA, they're causing the problem so that they are the solution, and then they continue to receive that 501c3 funding. Like if you could watch that on the news, you just Google the Southern Poverty Law Center and see what recent scandal that those guys are currently in. But the apostles were speaking on it. They were also speaking on this guy, and right now he's basically just putting away the name of Yahawashi. But ultimately, that's not going to succeed because you have the men of Yahawashi down here in Great Millstone, marking them who are causing division. And anybody who's basically getting the bag, selling out, putting on their baseball cap and making these crazy videos with fluffed likes and subscribes and comment sections, that just lets you know that those people are wolves in sheep's clothing. One thing I want to say too, like when you go to a Brother in Great Millstone's video on their live and their comment section, each and every one of those brothers actually have a YouTube channel and we do videos. But any type of scoffer who goes up against us, you go on their channel, they have nothing. That's an indicator that those are bots. They're not real. They're not legitimate. But let me get into the scriptures, because this is the last days. We're going to see a whole bunch of earthquakes, like we just had one in Japan. But right now, we're going to speak on the other type of prophecy that we're speaking about in Matthew 24, which is the false Hamashiachs, the antichrists. And any type of person who adheres to those people, like that individual wearing his baseball cap, praying in the name of Jesus Christ now, this precept comes to mind. Because like when you come into this truth, prepare your soul for temptation, because you have to be steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the Spirit. You can't just disregard what you're teaching. You actually have to be 100% about this. You can't be a hypocrite or except you be cast out, because the Heavenly Father is going to search your mind for those things. Like if we're actually out there on the highways and hedges and you're offended by when we say things like what's happening, like what's going to happen with the 2/3, then this ministry is not for you. You can put your baseball hat on and make another YouTube channel, because at Great Millstone, we're going to come in the volume of the book. So these things don't offend us. They are comforting to us. We just don't want to be a part of the 2/3, because that's a warning that we're taking heed and we're giving heed. We're basically fear mongers as they try to scoff, but we are basically speaking these things as a warning. You have to fear Yahawashi and get in line. And if not, you basically come into this ministry and then you get thrown back into the world with whatever thing that enticed you, whether it's money, a nice pretty baseball cap, or a Hellcat. This precept comes to mind. This is in Matthew 12:43. Let me see. All right, so verse 43 says, "When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none." And this ministry is supposed to do that for you. Of course, many are called, but few are chosen. So like the thing that we're seeing right now is that you have to endure unto the end. Just because you call in the names of Yahawashi doesn't mean that he's going to deliver you in these last days. Just because you have fringes on doesn't mean he's going to deliver you in these last days. The difference is that the ones who are going to stand stiffly for his name, even in the face of death, they're going to stay true to the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. He's examining our integrity. It is the furnace of affliction. And we're tried and refined so that a golden wedge of Ophir is come out of that. But so, like, you come into this ministry and you get baptized by this word, these unclean spirits come off of you. But as it goes on, verse 44, "Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come out," Saki says, "and when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation." So like when you come into this ministry, you're cleansed, but then you get enticed into the world with whatever carrot that Esau Edom has on that string for you, then you're basically 7 times worse than the state you were before. You're basically better off not knowing this truth. But this is basically the instance that's happening. Because now this person is made a gazing stock. Everyone is seeing and everyone knows what's going on. Like if you go into that guy's comment section, you can kind of see people aren't really buying what he's preaching. And of course he's going to have bots and fluffed up numbers. But nonetheless, the Spirit has shined the light on this person. And it's going to keep happening to anybody who's going to come up against us. All right, so I'm going to read this also in 1 Timothy 4:1. "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith." So this is not a thing that we lose sleep over. We know and understand that like we could be liable to fall out. That's why we have to keep our integrity strong. Examine yourself, study to show yourself approved, be brotherly to one another. Like all the things to stay on that tightrope, on the straight and narrow, are found within the scriptures. But of course, some people come into this ministry but then get drawn back out and put back into the world. So that is a thing that happens. And whatever philosophy it is, we had brothers, or so-called brothers, leave this ministry because of the flat earth doctrine. Like, out of all the things, that's the thing that took them out of this thing. But you're going to see more and more people basically being offended for Yahawashi, or offended to what the things that we speak about, when all we're doing is just coming in the volume of the book and having the testimony of Yahawashi, the spirit of prophecy. Like these scriptures, like the comforting things, should resonate with you. If not, then you need to examine yourself. But let me read from the top again. This is 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So we're seeing this happen here and there. And then you're also going to see the wolves in sheep's clothing try to come in with wayward doctrines. Verse 2, it says, speaking lies and hypocrisies, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. And like, I'm thinking for ICPK, because they're not innocent in this situation. According to them, John the Baptist fell out of the truth. That's a damnable heresy. That's something that basically just like little leaven leavened up the whole lump. With that type of mindset, you're liable to do anything and everything. And knowing those guys, ICPK specifically, they get down and dirty. I'm not going to get too intricate with all these other people, because ultimately we're marking them. But we already just have to speak the Spirit and move on with the subject. And if you read further down, it goes into like all these various things. But I'll read verse 3, because another situation happened, now not with ICPK, but with IEIC. You see the pattern here? So in verse 3 it says, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which the Most High Yahweh hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Now that is something that IUIC is guilty of, forbidding to marry. Which the scriptures say that if you were to marry a white woman, which if you do that, that's the mark of the beast, but jokes aside, but if you marry an Asian woman, a Moabite, Ammonite, an Elamite, whatever woman you wish to marry, and she doesn't have the faith, she doesn't believe in what you believe in, that is not something that is going to forbid you from marriage. The scriptures speak otherwise. But you go to IUIC, you're only allowed to marry one type of woman. And so that's basically them forbidding to marry. But like I was saying, you could see a pattern with these guys. They all wear baseball caps, or at least most of them do. But continuing on, this is another precept. This is Ephesians 5:11. It says, I'll start at verse 8. It says, for ye were sometimes dark. It says, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of the light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. We speak 100% truth in this ministry. Great Millstone. Not all these people have that. A lot of these people, they make YouTube videos where they say that they were wrong for something. At Great Millstone, we don't do that. Of course, whenever we hiccup or mess up our speech, we correct that. But like, just thinking about just the constant things that these random people are saying, like they don't believe in that we're gonna have Edomites as slaves. That is a doctrine of devils, a seducing spirit, and that is not the truth. The scriptures say that we're gonna have servants and handmaids. But continuing on, verse 10, it says, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Now, let me see if I can get this in... this is in the NIV. Ephesians 5 and 11, it says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And that's what we're doing. We're marking these people who are causing division. Because saying that Yahawashi isn't the name, like how late we are in this game, it just goes to show you that these guys are just wolves in sheep's clothing. Now, I'm going to read this from Ecclesiasticus in the prologue. So, let me see if I can try to find it right here. So from right here, just to get the excerpt or the little part that I'm trying to get at, because you read the prologue, it kind of tells you how this part of the scriptures was written. But right here it says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So it's basically like that phone game. One person says this and it kind of gets misinterpreted. Now, of course, when a person says Jesus Christ, we know what word and phrase they're trying to say, but basically these people are trying to put that vibration of Caesarea Borgia out there, when we already know that in the scriptures we're seeking the old ways. We should be speaking in Hebrew, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. If you break down the name Yahawashi, that was Joshua's name also. It was just worded a little differently, Yahawashawai. But basically, that definition means the same thing. He is the deliverer. So you should put some respect in his name and say it in Hebrew. Like we're not trying to slang when we're trying to speak this name. It's basically like a commanding officer. You don't want to say whatever. You have to say yes sir, no sir. Like come in decency and order. Is what I'm trying to say. So like as it says right here, like the things that were kind of like hard to translate, but if we get it into Hebrew, the definition is there, plain as day. But these people basically just want to stay with Esau Edom's language, with whatever the Septuagint or the like I forget what language is the Latin that they want to speak. When those are our slave masters who are speaking those languages. So we're basically departing from those things because we're seeking the old ways. But let me read this last precept. This is in 2 Timothy 3 and 13. It says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So anybody who's actually subscribed to those people wearing those baseball caps, they're being deceived. And the people are deceiving. And it's ultimately going to lead them to the lake of fire. Because like I said, if you're liable of saying that John the Baptist wasn't in the truth, you're liable to receive that MOTB. You're liable to do anything pretty much. Let me get one more precept. Just because I kind of quoted it. Let me see. This is in 1 John 2. And let me see. All right, so this is in 1 John 2 and 18. It says, little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist, I'll say plainly, but that word there is anti-Hamashiach. Hamashiach just means the anointed. So there's going to be anti-anointeds. And continuing on, it says, shall come. So in these last days, just as Yahawashi himself said, that there's going to be anti-Hamashiachs coming these last days. Scoffers, scorners, coming in the name or in the vibration, supposedly, like as if they're in legions with him. But really, if they're not speaking the testimony of prophecy, then the spirit of Yahawashi is not in them. You can see in that guy's YouTube channel, he doesn't really go into prophecy. Like this video, I could really be speaking about the earthquake that was happening in Japan, but for now, I'll go into this prophecy of the 2/3, the prophecy of these scoffers and anti-Hamashiachs in these last days. But as I'm going to continue on, it says, even now are there many anti-Hamashiachs, whereby we know that it is the last time. So that's a doctrine that there's just going to be some one guy, Antichrist, anti-Hamashiach. No, The correction here is that there are many anti-Hamashiachs. That is a blanket term for all these baseball cap wearing guys who are coming in these last days, most likely getting paid by the Southern Poverty Law Center so that they can keep their 501c3. But with that, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'll let you guys watch those videos and see in the recent news of what's taking place, because it's the last time. We're in the last days. There's going to be more and more earthquakes, more and more wars and rumors of wars, and more anti-Hamashiachs coming out of the woodwork. But with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and Shalom Akim.